Episode 715 of the Too Thicc Pod. I am your host, Jeremy from Reckless Cards. We're here to provide a little bit of sports, some cards, and hopefully a moment of levity in this crazy, crazy world. I am joined by my star protege, basically operating as if today was the Jordan game, playing with the flu, 3/4 dead less than 7 hours ago. They gave him an IV. They brought him back from dead, Mr. Manny Flores. Manny, welcome, sir.
What's up? Yeah, it was a rough week for me. I was put down by COVID, so I'm glad to be
put down, but not out.
Not out. Yep, they had an IV in me. I felt like that, the monkey meme with the thing, breathing treatment. That's how I felt. It's funny. I want to say don't make fun of COVID because I was doing that the day before I actually got COVID. I swear it was like the Grim Reaper in the corner saying, you know what? You're going to talk shit about me? I'm about to give you COVID. Here, you're next. And it took me out. I was out. I couldn't talk, had a fever, couldn't get out of bed. It was the worst. So,
yeah, man, you had responsibilities on social media, completely dropped the ball. Twitter took a bath. Instagram took a bath. Hell, even Courtney tried laying out TikToks for you, and you were just like, nope. Nope. So the coronavirus got my ass.
Yeah, they got me. And it didn't want to leave. Like it's still lingering. I still got lingering effects. I usually can't go up the stairs without breathing heavily, but it's times 10 right now. So
truly are a thick boy at that point in time, correct?
Yep, for sure. So and my daughter my youngest is 30 or 22 pounds. And I'm carrying her up, back and down the stairs. I thought my heart was going to explode.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing better. I'm glad the family is doing better. And maybe next time you go to talk shit, you'll think twice because you got hit right in the mouth with that little bit of shit talking that you had.
Yeah, I ain't talking shit anymore. Promise.
Yeah, so it's been an entertaining week. Last week's episode kind of was not at all what we had planned or expected to talk about as a result of a friend of ours pulling the Mac Jones 1-of-1. And quite frankly, that was one of the weirdest episodes I did because Mark's energy was crazy coming through. The shop was loud. I felt like I was screaming at him. And so one hobby day is the equivalent of like 4 weeks. Just there's so much that's going on. So I feel like there's 2 weeks worth of stuff I want to talk about. And so we always want to try to keep it positive. And with that, I think we're going to talk about, this past week, we were all set to go to a local show in Lansing, Michigan. And then we were going to hit up trade night in Canton, Michigan, like hour and a half away. And so it ended up being a full hobby day with only one half of the Too Thicc Pod. Luckily for me, I have my partner in crime, Court with me. And so me and the ride or die went out and enjoyed ourselves.
Hey, I would have went out, but everyone would have got COVID with me. So,
I think that's typically frowned upon, and I think it's irresponsible.
Hey, that's why I wasn't there. I was ticked, though, because, like you said, that card show, I had someone coming to sell me a Nomar Garciaparra collection that he had. I'm a big Red Sox guy, big Nomar guy. I was super stoked to go buy this collection and then had to cancel on him. So,
well, I went through there and we represented very well. We did the whole networking. We shook hands. We kissed babies, COVID free, of course.
Yeah,
unlike you, and did the damn thing. And what I hear and what I consume from various social medias is not at all what I experienced that day. It was quite frankly one of the funnest days in the hobby I've had in a long time. The vibes were absolutely awesome. And the doom and gloom thing, I don't quite understand it if you are treating this truly as a hobby.
Yeah, for sure. And then I would like to give a shout out to like the Michigan collectors, because it seems like when we go to these Michigan shows, everyone seems generally happy. And just it seems like it's like, yeah, the market, people are complaining about the market going down, blah, blah, blah. But everyone's just excited to actually buy. And everyone wants to talk to one another when we go to these card shows. So I do love the community we have around us.
Yeah, and there's some like big time people who have some serious 7 and 8 figure collections, only showing off a small sample size of what they truly have. And so I will say there was, just to kind of give a brief rundown and recap of what the show. This was a fairly decent sized show, about 100 to 110 tables, dealers and vendors of big time players to father and son duos or husband and wife duos setting up for the first time. So there was an incredible variety of cards. There was quite a few cards that were probably like recent comps were 200 that people were trying to sell for 4 or 450. And then there was also a fair amount of people that weren't willing to budge on cards because whatever that card was, they've already told me how this person's going on to be a Hall of Famer and win 6 championships. And so, but that's to be expected, right? I think any show that you go to, you experience that. So that doesn't bother me so much. For me personally, when I run into that situation, I identify that as, okay, we're probably not going to get a deal done, exchange pleasantries, gather any intel or information that I can, and then move on to the next table.
Yep. And I put money was the player Miguel Cabrera, because people around here will not sell Miguel Cabrera if life depended on him.
No, I'm a Chicagoan, so Miguel Cabrera came up with the Marlins and really impacted my Cubbies in the early 2000s. So Miguel Cabrera is dead to me. No interest in any of his stuff. But it's crazy that a Justin Herbert pink velocity from Optic is more cherished and more coveted than a autographed Peyton Manning card. I cannot and will not ever understand that. But I do have to acknowledge that, we talked about this in Hobby Night School. When you talk about like recency bias, that these guys didn't see some of these greats play and they didn't see the players that we watched growing up. Yep. So part of your strategy, if you're going to play with these kids, is you have to understand what they like and what they want.
For sure. Justin Herbert, in my opinion, I've always been off on him. He's in the hardest division. Russell Wilson, you have Patrick Mahomes, even Derek Carr getting Devontae Adams. This guy could potentially be, it's rare, but he could either win the division or come in last place of his division. And people are like buying his cards like he's top dollar. He hasn't even made the playoffs yet. So I avoid Justin Herbert just because his cost at this moment.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I'm more so, I hate buying if I feel like something's already running. I'm just not a huge fan unless it's like, I couldn't even tell you a card. I like buying stuff when it's on its way down. And that's me personally. Yep. Because I just don't feel cards like that have that much more room to grow, specifically talking about Justin Herbert. I just think there's too much stuff baked in. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, there was a lot of people who were attempting to sell at a big discount, trying to get cash. So per our normal strategy, and I only say this to share what works best for us. This may not work for you, but we always, unless there's an absolute home run of a deal, we take our time, we walk the show, and we get a good lap in. And when we're doing this, we're talking to the dealers, we're understanding what they're into, so we can identify, hey, are there trade opportunities, or get a sense of, hey, this guy's willing to not sell anything and go home and be perfectly fine. Or you can pick up on, hey, this person by the end of the show is going to get desperate and look to unload. So we did that. We left, we regrouped, grabbed lunch and a coffee, and then came back. And at that point, it was truly buying season. And one thing we picked up on was everybody's trying to prepare for national. Everybody's trying to prepare for national. And now we've gone through this cycle a few times. And it's worth noting this now would be, in my opinion, and how we will operate is we're not going to national to buy. We might trade or we might buy a thing if it grabs our attention, but we're buying now. Now is the time. The getting is good right now.
Yep. No, I completely agree. Everyone wants to have that cash flow for national, but it seems like national for a lot of people, it's a social event. because you have these dealers that are there, then they have their prices that they're not going to budge. So everyone's trying to sell right now. This is, like you said, the perfect time to buy. I also think when you're at National, if you do go to National, even if you're not going, there's auction houses that end on weekends or time frames that everyone is at the National where their eyeballs aren't going to be there. They're going to be at trade night or somewhere else. They're going to be at a party or something where everyone's socializing. There's going to be some deals on these auction houses during that time frame too. So you could buy now. Make sure you check the auction houses during that time frame. That would be that's like my strat pretty much. I'm actually trying to save up too because this is like my first time actually going to National. So I do want to buy something. I probably, most likely, it seems like this is like a running trend to me. I overpay on something. So that's my goal, is not to overpay on stuff when I go to National, but we'll see. I'll have you in my ear saying, Manny, you're stupid. Don't buy that. So
No, man, it part of like the experience is buying something when you're there, right?
yeah.
And we had an opportunity to pick up a Luca number /5 card. It was like one of the Panini Father's Day cards, but it had like a game used towel, something like that. And I didn't jump on it because I'm like, hey, I'm being fiscally responsible. I'm going to think on it. And like 2 minutes later, it was gone. And then the card just sold the other day for like 10x.
Oh, wow.
What like we could have bought it for. And so I get it, man. Like you want to buy it. Like part of the hobby, or not part of it for us, like it's to have fun. And it's no different than going to a concert or a wrestling event and buying some shitty overpriced t-shirt for $45 to acknowledge or have that piece of memorabilia from that event, that experience. So I get it, dude. I get it. I really do.
Well, and then at National, these are cards that you don't see often, right? Even if they're not super high end, like there's some that I don't even know about that could be there, and it's gonna catch my eye. But you tell me, kind of your strat, you say on these local shows is to walk around briefly, see what you can with the dealers, see how they're gauging. You really can't do that at National, right? Because of how many tables there are.
You just have to work a little bit harder because there's so much foot traffic. And I'll use Chicago last year or Rosemont as an example. You would get up there and it's asses to elbows, for lack of a better term. Everybody's trying to look at stuff. Everybody's trying to wheel and deal. So the internet was a little bit sketchy. So to me, it's important to understand what you're looking at and not to get caught up in the shiny thing. We had gone, and for us last year, we were looking for a Kobe or a Jordan auto. Okay. And so we had a decent idea of where certain cards would be at. But then when I got in there, I was instantly attracted and gravitated towards soccer. Well, I didn't know some of these players and some of these cards, their markets. So I didn't know what was good and what was bad. So I was operating as if these guys are probably trying to make some money. So it's probably not the greatest deal.
Yeah. And that's usually where I go. I have a game plan. And when I get to a show, it just out the window. And then I try to look at cards, like you said, that I don't know their market, but I like the card. And that's where I end up overpaying on most of my stuff.
I mean, it's a lesson learned, but I mean, are you having fun?
Yeah, I sell at losses. I just love the experience of buying and selling, you know. Sometimes I just like to buy. I get that excitement of just, hey, I'm going to post this on Instagram. I'm going to get 5 likes. And I'm going to show Jeremy. I'm going to show all my card hobby friends that I got this cool card. And I get that kind of excitement, like I was a child still.
So what's wrong with that?
There isn't nothing wrong with it.
That's what I'm saying.
But hey.
We were talking with John tonight, and basketball card guy, incredible dude. And I brought up the point of, I think so much it's focused on money first and like actual hobby second, that's why some people are having like a lesser experience right now, because everything results around money. Like my best cards I really don't even know the value. I'm sure I'm smart enough that if I get gun to my head, I could come up with something and kind of get you in the ballpark.
Yeah.
But my daily routine isn't like monitoring the value of my collection.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I am fiscally responsible, and I understand that if I can buy something for 200 right here and sell it for 300, I now have $300 to play with. Like I understand that, but that's not my motivation in my decision making within the hobby.
Yeah, that's true. I do have a question. Since we're both buying, right? What players are you looking at to buy? Or player? What player are you looking to buy right now, or why? I guess we'll both give out one or two examples. Don't listen. I just want to, before we start, this is what me and Jeremy want to buy. So if you end up buying it and the market goes down, don't blame us. But this is kind of what we enjoy. So
yeah, so I think this is good. I gravitate towards transparency.
mm-hmm.
And so I'll share. Damn, how many fucking different drinks do you have, bro? First it was a Red Bull, then it was a McDonald's drink, then it's what the hell's going on over there?
I was waiting for you. I kept grabbing different ones over here to see what you would say.
So I like to share my thought process, and hopefully, if you can take something good from it and apply it to your own thing, then that's great. But yeah, as Manny said, we told you in the first episode, we're idiots, so do not listen to us. But hopefully you can pick and choose a little something, apply it, and make it applicable for your own collection. For me, it's become very easy. And I thought this was impossible at first. When I got really back into it, like maybe 3 years ago, all I wanted to do was rip wax. I never understood buying singles. I'm like, that absolutely can't be fun. There is no mystery. There is no excitement. And over the last year, I've probably shifted the other way to, man, buying wax is just throwing money away. It's so much better to buy singles. So I like to buy in the off season. So as everybody's geared up and like amped for football right now, which started a little earlier than I expected.
Yep.
I have shifted now back to basketball and soccer. So we're not going to hide it. We are huge Patrick Williams fans. A couple years ago, it was Kobe White. So we're loading up. We continue to load up on Patrick Williams. I'm looking at like numbered stuff, colored stuff, like on-card autos, like cool stuff like that. A play for me, for us, is I'm going to go the route of soccer. Right now, I am looking at Pedri. He's a 19-year-old footballer, soccer player, plays for Barcelona, young Spaniard, just incredible. And if you were to like Google best soccer players, or if you were going to Bing it or whatever search engine you use, I think overwhelmingly he comes up number 2 for best players under 21, right behind Erling Haaland.
Yep.
He's 19. He's already played with Lionel Messi. He is the cornerstone or the building block for the Barcelona team. He plays for an incredible Spanish club. We're coming up. It's the off season, so prices are down, so you can buy in at a cheap price point, but also knowing that we're coming up, there's going to be regular season play, Champions League play, and this little tournament that only happens once every 4 years called Barcelona. Called the damn World Cup, man. That was slick.
I thought you did that on purpose.
No, man. You know, you're taught in school when you make a mistake just to ignore it. I don't. I dwell on it, and now the whole thing is just what a piece of shit I am. My apologies for that.
You said Barcelona, your eyebrows started twitching. Like,
yeah, dude. So you got the World Cup coming up, and to me, when you can buy in at a big price point, I don't expect the World Cup to be like this enormous boom. So please be mindful. A lot of soccer players and soccer stuff already has run quite a bit, but there's certain stuff, for instance, and I just grabbed a couple. There's like this, like probably one of his more famous rookie cards. These are Tops Now that I bought like 2 years ago. They're And then if you see there's Messi right there.
Yep.
I was buying these at like $3 a pop, man, and sending them in economy. And at one point they got up to like a couple $100 a 10. You know what I mean? So I think right now they're probably between like 130, 150. But the print, you can find the print run for Topps Now cards, which makes it appealing because you can identify based on pop report from PSA, BGS, SGC, along with the total print run, what's going on out there. And like little stuff like this, I picked this up at like maybe $100. It's a pop
like
17. You know what I mean? And I think the last one did like 250 or 265.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
And so that's just like little stuff that we've been picking up. Like, and he has all this stuff that you would want in a soccer player. Like he controls the ball. He's an excellent passer. He can score if he needs to. And he's just widely coveted. So to me, I feel like it's a safe gamble.
Yep.
So for me, Pedri is one, and then I'll give another one. I'm gonna go with Karim Adeyemi. So he played for Salzburg. He just was signed by Borussia Dortmund. And if you know anything, Dortmund is like a factory for future talent. So he's, again, a 20-year-old kid, a guy that can score the ball, is German. So another, powerhouse in the soccer community. So you can get his cards probably even a little bit cheaper. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like soccer over there, it's transfer, it's the off season, nobody's playing, attention shifted elsewhere. So I'm kind of looking at stuff like that where I can get in at a cheap price point. And if things go sideways, not a big deal. But if it starts to run, you're in, and you're gonna make a couple of dollars.
Yeah, I actually like the Pedri play because I didn't even think about it. But everyone, since Topps Chrome came out this year, everyone's talking about Gavi, which is his teammate, and people are forgetting that Pedri is still on that team. So I do like that play because you're kind of looking within the market, within the team, and people are even forgetting about Pedri. I like the players that are forgotten about, but they're good players. So that's what my play is, a forgotten about player, but won multiple championships on different teams. Kind of a awkward player, you would say. The people say he's a robot. And we kind of have that same technique where I'm looking at the offseason. Everyone's looking at football quarterbacks because they're preparing for national. That's what everyone's saying. Everyone's like, get your quarterbacks now because at national, everyone's going to want a quarterback. But since everyone's saying that, I'm not going to get a quarterback and try to buy it at national because there's going to be everyone trying to sell their quarterbacks at national. So I'm actually looking at Kawhi Leonard, Kawhi cards. I don't know why Luke Kennard came right to my head when I said that, but Kawhi cards. The reason is because of the news where John Wall just went to the Clippers. So now they have John Wall, which is he averages around 19 points, which isn't it's not a superstar, but it's someone that could produce. You have Paul George, you have Reggie Jackson on that team. That team is stacked. They just needed that Kawhi that's been injured for a year. When he was playing, he was one of the top 5 players in the league. It seems like people are forgetting about him because he was injured for a whole year. Recent sales, I have Card Ladder right here. We could pull that up if you would want to see where I'm kind of looking at. So we have sales volume right here. This is Card Ladder Index. I just typed in Kawhi. His index data. You can see that on average his growth rate is at 14 and negative 14%, which is a lot. Everyone is on a down market right now. So yeah,
you've got it at 3 months. Can you switch it to 6 months or a year or?
Yeah, right here. So 6 months. You want a year?
Yeah.
All right. So at a year, it's at 50% rate of growth, negative 50%. We have average value and low value, everything you need right here. You can see the graph kind of going down. There's a little spike right here, but then it went down, and it's consistently stayed down. Let's go to sales volume. Here's the year data. We went down, and this is a spike because of the news probably of John Wall coming over to the Clippers. But look what happens. It goes right back down. Number of sales in the 24-hour period is 5. The average daily volume is only 1,500, which isn't that much if you think about his cards. His PSA 10s are like $800, $500 to $800, I believe. Or no, sorry, his PSA, yeah, it's around that price. So when you have that as his average daily volume, I don't think that's a ton of volume. When at one point you're at $7,000 in one day. This right here is a 20,000, and this is 5 of 19. So
he missed the entire season last year, correct? He didn't play at all.
Yep.
Right. And he's a guy who is quiet, and other than a few awkward laughs, like nothing that he does is clippable, or you just don't know who he is. He's kind of quiet and kept to himself. And I think I'm only familiar in saying that because that is probably, and I don't want to say a fear, but let's say if, and to be clear, Kawhi is a beast. Championships with 2 different teams. You know, I think healthy with a healthy Paul George and a John Wall, who was 19-10 before getting hurt, and was healthy last year. Let's not forget he was healthy. That was just a good thing with Houston, where they want to develop Jalen and keep John Wall away. I mean, the guy was throwing down 360s and warm-ups and stuff like that, and it was healthy. So he has the opportunity of a 3rd championship with a 3rd different team, which is pretty incredible. I just think ultimately it comes down to why he's not as cardboard popular as others is just not much of a personality. And so I only use that as a comparison, or I'm familiar with that because our fear, and again, it's not really a fear, but like Patrick Williams, like they're always like, be more aggressive, have more of a, I want him to have more of a personality.
Yep. And the thing is when you buy these cards, you got to have an out, right? That's kind of the goal when you plan on doing it. My plan with Kawhi, when season ramps up, guess what? I know he's not a personality, but ESPN loves him. ESPN, First Take, Undisputed, they love talking about him because he is that key guy. They're going to talk about the Clippers being better than the Lakers. They're going to have this debate. Kawhi's going to be in headlines. I look at players that are going to be in headlines, and when they are in headlines, that's when I saw. Because I would love to flip into something that I actually care about. You know what I mean? Like a Luka. I know his prices are higher, but I would flip a Kawhi overhype and over the hype of they're talking about him in the news headlines to get my Luka card that I want. So that's kind of where I want to look at. The Luka cards would be a PC card. So it's not like something I'm trying to flip more with the Luka because I know they're expensive.
Do you ever consider buying like multiples just in case? Like, let's say he takes off and he's 25 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, putting up incredible numbers. The Clippers are, 50 and 20 with 12 games left. They're just absolutely kicking ass. They look unstoppable. It's kind of nice to be able to have some that you can get rid of, but maybe like one good one that you can hang on to just in case he goes on and gets that 3rd championship.
Yeah, it's nice, but then you have the fear of like you said, the personality of him. That's what it scares me too, and I think that's why his market isn't as high. But he is part of that, what is it, the 2012 rookie set too? So that has a kind of a premier look or premier price point because it is Kawhi or the first year of Prism as well. But I do think, like I said, I think Kawhi's top 5 player, top 10 player in the league. He's just no one's really talking about him. People, like the headlines now are, hey, in the hobby, I'm saying is Zion. And Zion's going to be on the ESPN as well, headlines when he's coming back. But I just think Kawhi is going to be in that same aspect. So why would I try to get Zion like everyone else in the hobby, and when I could get someone that's proven in Kawhi that's injured as well.
Hey man, and a championship in LA is probably a lot more impactful than one in Toronto and one in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So it's an intriguing play because I watch his stuff again because of like all the Pat Williams comparisons. And I've seen some beautiful, beautiful cards of his available at like a good price point. And like if I was going to try to defend your take or your play,
yeah,
he's got an incredible resume. You don't have to worry about him getting in trouble off the court. Like it's about as safe as you can get. And so I think as some people realize, like, hey man, there's this guy that's already a proven dude. I could see that being a good play, man. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think the autos right now are like $1,200
for an RPA.
Yeah, I believe so. Some of the RPAs we could double check.
I almost got a Ja Morant fast break gold disco for like $5K with a sticker auto. I'd much rather have a Kawhi, and I'm looking this up. I'd much rather
let me know what an RP or like an autographed rookie of his is. And I think it's, I mean, like you said, people are buying Zions at more price point than this.
Oh wow, yeah, you can definitely get RPAs cheap.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at National. So I think I'm going to try to get some Kawhis there while I'm there and before that.
Ooh, there is some awesome stuff. There's like a 2012-13 Immaculate on-card auto, 3-color patch, bright blue, bold autograph. That is nasty.
Yeah. I mean,
that's dope.
Yeah, I mean,
that's dope.
Top 10 player in the league right now, and his autos are super cheap compared to like other players that people are buying into hype.
So I like that you and me are both similar in the fact that we're trying to look where somebody else isn't looking, or at least doing it in the off season. So I want to go back. We go from the Lansing show to trade night. And I've learned over the many years that what's cool to me isn't necessarily cool to other people. And so we make a conscious effort to bring multiple sports of multiple price points. And let me tell you something. Besides Tom Brady, all the kids wanted right now is football. Football is freaking king.
Yep.
Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. That's all. And Herbert and Burrow. That's all anybody gives a shit about.
Well, that's because kids love the YouTubers and content creators. And that's what the content creators are saying because Nationals are around the corner to load up on these quarterbacks right now for Nationals. So I think that's where these kids are getting their information from. A lot of the kids are smarter than me. I don't want to just assume that kids are just getting their information from someone else. But a lot of the kids are smarter than me. But it just seems like a high tick of everyone wanting football right now.
Yeah, it's and they know what they want. They are very articulate. They know comps, and they don't care about Michael Jordan. They don't care about Kobe Bryant. They don't care about LeBron. Football was king. So there's a couple old guys there, like myself, and it was awesome. I'm going to tell two stories. I'm going to tell you about the shitbag, and I'm going to tell you about the good dude. The shitbag, I quickly identified is the guy that sits there, and no matter what card you have, he's got something that's better. So you could be like, hey, my name's Manny Flores. I've got 2 beautiful girls. I've got an amazing wife. And he'll be like, well, I have 2 kids with your wife, and I have your wife, and she's better. Like, he's that guy. And so I was just like, this guy's a complete bag. So I was watching him, and he had some cards I was interested in. So I was going to see if I could work a deal. And I was watching him negotiate with other people, and his thing was he had a couple like mid to high 5-figure cards. And like he was clear that in one he demonstrated that he was very sharp. But when it was other stuff, he'd be like, nah, you know what? I don't know. I don't know the comps. I don't know the comps. I'll have to look it up unless you want to say like 200. And he's like, I think that's probably a steal. And so I'm watching him, and like he's telling him 200, and the card's like $75 or 100. So he's doing the whole like, oh, I didn't know thing.
Yeah.
So he had something. So I started talking to him, and he was trying to sell me on a Pat Williams card. So like, there's one market I know pretty damn well, and it's Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
And so he was like, a gold of this same card out of 10 in a PSA 9 had just done like 150. So he was trying to sell me a raw out of 25. He's like, yeah, I think it's like $200-$300, but you know, if you want to do the deal now, I would do like 225. And I was like, dude, we're not even close.
Yeah.
I'm like, gold a 10 in a PSA, and he's like, well, it'll probably do good. I'm like, you can't guarantee a card's gonna grade good, man.
Exactly.
So anyway, like, and then the other card that I was able to like, because I have every single damn app that exists and I utilize the technology, I know how to use it. Like a card that he had just picked up for like 3-something on Probstein, he was trying to pitch it to me for like $700-$800, and I was like, come on, man, this is the card, you just bought it.
Yeah.
Why do we have to do this? And so I say all that just to be mindful. There's people who will act as if they're your friend, or they'll use ignorance as a way to try to be scumbags. Just watch that. Now, with that being said, this is a cool story. There was a Justin Herbert card that this kid wanted, and the kid was selling everything, and he was trying to trade and move his way up. Well, the guy who had it owned a sneaker shop, and I wish I remembered the sneaker shop, but I am going to go and probably buy an expensive ass pair of sneakers to show some love. But this guy had brought a separate case, and he was just giving cards to kids. Well, he told the kid like, hey, you know, the card that you want is like, let's just say it was $1,000 card. It was legit. It was $1,000 all day. He told the kid, I'll get it to you for 800. Like, and then he was telling me, he's like, I kind of feel bad. I don't want to lose this card, but the kid loves it. And I'm hopeful that if I sell it to him, it's like, I want to do right by the kid, and I want to pay it forward. And I was just like, hey man, the hobby needs more of that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So the kid was going around. He was just desperately, he got within like $70. And so he's like, hey, would you look at my stuff? And I already knew the deal because we were talking to the guy. And so I bought some card that I had zero interest in.
Yeah.
He's like, would you do 70? And I'm like, his dad was there watching him. I'm like, yeah, I got you, man. Go get your card. And so it was cool. Story's not about me, but because I'll be able to sell the card and get my money back or whatever. But it was awesome to see other people like willing to take a hit on their card because he understands that it made that kid's day, and that kid left that shop on cloud 9, like just legitimately having a truly awesome and positive hobby experience, which means he's going to want to participate more. And he understands the possibility if like I put in the work, what could potentially be.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, if you ever figure out his sneaker store, let me know because I'll support him too. I love when adults like us when we were younger, that was us. We always wanted like the card, right? We don't have the money, but we had people like you or someone else that would help us out. It just kept us in the hobby and made the hobby stronger. So I do want to help support people like that.
As much as I love this shit, had somebody done that when I was a kid, because my hobby experience as a kid was just remembering getting ripped off or being taken advantage of. I don't have that besides the one time I pulled the A-Rod rookie from a pack. And then like 2 days later, the guy who owned the card shop had it, and I had a Carlos Baerga autograph, like complete bullshit, got ripped off. Yeah. I might have not gone on hiatus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's always treat everyone with respect, right? You
Dude,
good
it is.
karma.
It is not. It is not hard. It's perfectly like it is okay to operate in the same space as somebody else, and we can all win. We can all have a good time. There's no sense in bringing somebody down. And you know what? I'm actually gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna lead by example. Like I'm just gonna throw out some love. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I'm very mindful about what I say. And when I plug something or I say something, it's because I truly believe it. I don't just say it for the sake of saying it. But there's this awesome podcast that's very similar to us in the sense it's just a couple of guys having a good time, like very light. They poke fun at each other. And so I want to plug the Triple Play podcast down in New Zealand. It's an incredible show. It's hosted by two awesome guys. You got the first guy, Juice, and the other guy, Kama, and they're awesome. And I'm looking forward to linking up with them and giving them a lime of the day because it's just what you do when you run into somebody that you love. And I would encourage everybody to check it out. Juice and Lima, just a couple of good dudes. New Zealand, the other side, just down there living life, just doing awesome content. And I'm looking forward to because I think we're going to jump on and go live with them and get educated on some F1, right?
Yeah, Kama knows a lot about F1. Well, so he says. So it'd be nice to go live with him. They go live on F1 races. Maybe we'll go out live this weekend. So yeah, shout out to, what did you say, Juice and Kama?
Juice and Kama from Triple Play.
Yeah,
right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Rick. So
Rick got it right.
Yeah, Rick got it right. But let's talk about F1 this weekend.
Silverstone. Hold on. We're going to talk about F1, bro. Come on, give me my flowers.
Yeah.
Give me my fucking flowers, Manny.
All right, so Jeremy had a prediction. He made me clip it. He was very persistent on me clipping his F1 prediction where he said, what was it? Mercedes will be both drivers will be top 5, right? And they were, because Perez, did not finish, and you got Charles that was in the back. He got so Jeremy got really lucky 2 weeks ago. But yeah, he had the right prediction. It was actually really smart of him. Mercedes seems to be going a little bit faster than expected or per usual. So Silverstone, it's Mercedes home track. So what do you think this week?
I don't have a feel. I really don't have a feel for this week, but I will say the thought process going into last week was just watching a Mercedes car continue to improve ever so much. And the more I consume the sport, the more I start to pick up on what's truly posturing. Because every time I hear something, it's Lewis Hamilton. He's suffering micro concussions and his body's broken and he can't do it. And then you hear about what some of the other teams are saying about Mercedes. And I'm like, okay, it's just a little bit of posturing. George has been steady and Lewis just needs some things to go right. And so while I will say, I don't think I was lucky, like obviously some things shook out in my favor. It was a very sound and well thought out prediction. I don't have one for this week because my luck, I'll fuck around and get it right. And then I will be the sage of F1 and I don't want to bear that cross.
Oh, you don't? You don't want to be?
No.
I bet you don't. No, I'm going to it sucks that Ferrari just keeps falling and falling. But I don't know, Charles's car is still one of the fastest cars. He started off 19, and took 6 last time.
Yep.
So, I mean, my gut is always going to be Charles is going to win. That's my guy.
What the hell happened at the end with Carlos Sainz? They had the yellow, and he was within like 1 second, and like he was like 0.7 to like 1.1, 1.2. And I thought we would at least see at least one attempt at a pass.
Yeah.
And Max was just able to hold him off and win. And I was like, that buildup. I thought we were going to have a little something at the end, and then it was just like, meh.
You think Ferrari was like, play it safe because we need the points. We don't need you spinning out, fighting, battling with Max, or something happened and we don't get points with you being in second. So just take second and move on.
The one thing that I was a little bit disappointed in that race was I really thought it was going to be some points for Mick.
Yeah, he actually looked. Was it Haas that really in qualifying?
Yeah, they looked really good.
Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with Haas, but that's our that's our home team. We have to root for them.
Hey man, I thought Mick was an interesting play.
Yeah.
But they told him he can't keep crashing cars. They don't have money, and the car just splits in half for no damn reason. So what's going on this week? Tell me about this track. Tell me why is it Mercedes is truly a home team, or is it just that George and Lewis are British drivers, therefore they're the I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean George and I thought it was Mercedes. We can look this up real quick. Fair warning, this is me and Jeremy talking this through. We're both newer fans to F1 since this season, so we're kind of beginners. So you can make fun of us or not, but there's probably people watching like, you guys are idiots. They didn't know Mercedes' home court is Silverstone. So I think Jeremy's looking right now.
Yeah, I legitimately just don't know.
We'll just say that they're both British, Hamilton and Russell.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew that much.
Yeah, so yeah, it's their home. Because they say Monaco, because Charles is from there, that it's their home, Ferrari's home. So
sure.
And that's
what's the expectation for this race?
For what? For Ferrari? I want Ferrari to podium.
No, I know who you want. Like, yeah, is Red Bull expected to kick ass? Is this a track that's conducive to the Red Bull car?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Red Bull. I mean, Max, especially Perez. They're going to figure out his problem. But yeah, this track should be suitable for them. But it's also the straight line track right now is Mercedes has picked up some speed. So I wouldn't be surprised if either Hamilton or Russell actually podiums as well.
That would be awesome. I feel like we're probably, if things continue the way they are, I think you're going to put a bow on the season, and Max is going to be your champion, which kind of eliminates a little bit of the fun. Like, it is exciting to see teams battling for points, but it would be so much more fun instead of like all the crazy racing being P7 through 12. If it was like P1 through 3, 1 through 4, where there was some serious competition, but Max just looks like he's on another level right now.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? I think there's one race where he finished and it was not in first place. The rest times that he finished a race was in first place. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to talking with Kama and Juice and picking their brains and getting a better understanding than just our novice chit chat back and forth.
Yeah, like they're very experienced, so they'll be able. Their opinion is they think that this is going to be the first win for Mercedes. They've been calling it since the beginning. They say Mercedes will always, start off slow, but this is where Mercedes is picking up and going to take control. So we'll see.
I am interested to see with how well George has raced, how that plays out with somebody who has been the guy for the past 8+ years. What happens? Do they start building towards the future, or do they still let Lewis be the man? I think that's like a very intriguing storyline.
I think the storylines within the teams, even Max Verstappen, there's been like funny memes that Perez was they messed with Perez. Red Bull messed with Perez's car, so we don't have the conflict of, hey, Perez is in the championship with Max Verstappen, you're going to have to let him pass or something like that. They want Max to be number one and be the true number one of Red Bull. That's kind of like the meme between Red Bull.
No, I believe it, man. I really do. And when I was in Germany at one point in time doing some work. And the only thing that I could find on TV that was sports related was Bundesliga soccer
Mm-hmm.
and F1, because that is like the most popular sport. Like it's different when you're in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have the appreciation for these things that I do now. Obviously, I liked soccer, but I didn't know any of the Bundesliga clubs. I didn't know any of the players. So to me, it was just like meh. And obviously, I never liked cars until a couple of years ago. And I'm still, I can do F1. I'd rather get gnawed on by an alligator than watch NASCAR or
Yeah,
dirt bikes or any, like, I just can't fuck with it. But I
that's
say all that because right now in America, NBA free agency is a big deal,
mm-hmm.
but there's a much bigger deal taking place, and that's the transfer market in soccer. And something that happened that will make waves in the States is LAFC freaking shocked the world and
Mm-hmm.
signed Gareth Bale.
Yeah, it's crazy that these players. I know they're towards their end of their careers, but coming over. There's even rumors of Messi coming over to Miami in a couple of years. Imagine the MLS world with all these players being like, okay, you know what? Let's go to let's go to the MLS, and play there. Why not? You make more money. LAFC is a newer team in the MLS, and they have like some known no owners: Magic Johnson, Will Ferrell, Nomar, Mia Hamm. They're not scared to spend money, are they?
No, and so in to pay homage to what's going on here, I'm rocking my Chicago Fire gear. I was season ticket holder for many years, living in the Chicago area,
Mm-hmm.
and what LAFC is doing, what LA Galaxy is doing, what the New York clubs have been able to do, what is supposedly in the pipeline for Miami. I can't understand why this garbage ass franchise can't do anything to put a winning product on the field, let alone capture a talent that would make going to a Chicago Fire game worthwhile.
That's because it's Chicago.
The games that had the best attendance were when Wayne Rooney visited, Thierry Henry,
Yeah.
David Beckham, and then Toronto FC at the height when you had Josie Altidore, you had what's his face from Italy just absolutely crushing it. Otherwise, Toyota Park was half filled, three-quarter filled, maybe if the weather was nice and they were doing something for the kids.
Yeah.
And it just continues to baffle me why they would refuse to go out and spend a couple of dollars and bring in a name. And don't tell me Bastian Schweinsteiger on the final 10 minutes of his career is a big fucking signing. Jeez.
I've never seen like the passion of a MLS because I mean I truly don't like watch it. I should. Maybe I'll join your no, I don't feel like it. After you just said that, I probably shouldn't be a Fire fan, huh?
You know what it is? It's like you're a soccer fan, right? So
Yeah.
even though you might understand a player is like on the back nine of their career, you
Mhm.
understand the importance or the magnitude of who this player was and their contribution to the beautiful game of football.
Yeah.
And for LAFC to get a guy like Gareth Bale, who has scored goals in Champions League games, he just helped Wales qualify for the World Cup. He is a legitimate striker who is not at the end of his career. He is still in his prime. For them to go out and shell out the money to land a player like that it makes me want to go get an LAFC jersey, man. I just want to go get a kit.
Let's do it. We'll get matching ones. I'll get a Gareth Bale one too. I'm excited. Who do you support in the Premier League?
So when I was a kid, I always liked Everton, and it was only because they had the American players. So like Landon Donovan, and so I was like wherever the American players went. But now American players are all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think I have a Premier League team. I've got a couple of friends who are big Liverpool fans and Mo Salah fans, so I like watching those games.
Yeah.
But I don't have a club over there.
Okay. I've been a Chelsea fan my whole life. Like
Okay.
Drogba, I used to when I was younger, Drogba, I used to like watching him from Fernando Torres, Eden Hazard, Diego Costa, Essien, Eto. I can name all like I've been a
Yeah.
Chelsea. I name these people because people are gonna be like, you just like him because of Pulisic. But no, I liked him way back in the early 2000s, I would say, when I got into watching the Premier League. So that's my team. And it's hard when you watch Premier League to watch MLS games, right? It's a different level. They need it. I don't know how MLS is. I don't know how they're gonna ever compete with Premier. They won't. But they need to get up like higher standard and not make it a joke. I mean, Zlatan was joking about players playing in the MLS when they're in their prime, right? So they have to change that kind of demeanor of the MLS league.
So the way the ownership structure is a little bit different than other places, but I do think from a financial perspective, they're in a good spot. They're selling tickets. Everybody's aware that the product is lesser than what you would see, going across the pond, but they're continuing to grow. A big deal for the Chicago Fire is a kid from their academy is in negotiations to go to a big squad. And it's a big deal because what they're saying, it's a goalkeeper, of course. Can't be like a fun, awesome striker. But the point is they're like, hey, we're starting to develop this talent where like clubs like, Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid are coming over and wanting to sign our players. Yeah. Now, there's always been the rumor that some of these players like Lionel Messi have it that like when they get towards the end, that they're going to come over and play for a couple years for big paydays and help grow and build it. And so I'd always heard that it was going to be the Red Bulls that like was kind of like his trajectory towards MLS. So I think they understand they're not the Premier League.
Yeah.
But they're in a good spot. There's some players making some good dough over here. And it's not a bad gig. It's not a bad gig.
It kind of reminds me of like the China League, I believe. There's a lot of like some of the bigger players go over there because of the payday.
Sure.
It just would be cool to have like I guess we're soccer fans, so it would be nice to take MLS a little bit more serious. Like why can't it be like the Bundesliga, like talent level? I mean, why not? So
yeah, it would be awesome. Like if you were to take like, let's say LAFC, like what is it called? The Supporter Shield? I don't even remember. Like whoever wins and is the best club, like to see while fit, in shape, in game shape, to see like what a club like that could do against a mid-level Premier League team, or even hell, like put them up against a prime Man City and let's see what happens.
That'd be a slaughterhouse.
I mean, you're discounting like Gareth Bale, Carlos Vela, like they've got some like legitimate people. But
Gareth Bale, if you think about it, didn't play with Real Madrid, right? He was a bench player, never got in. So you have like
that poor guy. I don't know what his deal is. Somebody much smarter than I, but like maybe because the buzz around him is so, it would be like LeBron James. Like this is how it works in my head. LeBron James came in with all the expectation in the world, and somehow he managed to meet and exceed it. Gareth Bale, I feel like, has always had all this expectation and has always been like a damn good player. Like could still be a Hall of Famer, but because he didn't meet this level of expectation, people treat him like he's a piece of shit.
Yeah. It is, but I think he's gonna prove. Do you see like I don't know, because what does the MLS season look like? They're not playing.
They're in season right now.
So has Bale played at all? Like
not yet.
That's another thing is they need to make it kind of line it up with the Premier League, their season. I mean, if you want them to play like each other, right? It'd be nice to have them in the same type of league.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting, but like, hey, this is the product here. This is what we're dealing with, and regardless, I'm telling you, you go to the stadium, the buzz, like we saw Thierry Henry come into Toyota Park and he was coming off of injury, but he came on like maybe in the 60th minute and from probably about 30 meters out on his off foot, hit the upper 90, like just complete, like the way he moved, the way he handled the ball, just complete class. And it was incredible. So it makes for a fun experience. And when these stars are in the building, like you definitely have that buzz. So, but I'm a Fire fan and they fucking suck. I wish they got relegated.
Yeah, that'll never happen in the MLS.
I just wish they would get fucking relegated and bring a club up from Rockford or somebody who gives a shit.
That's funny.
And I'm also sour too because I just went to Cincinnati and they've got this beautiful, modern, state-of-the-art stadium downtown that FC Cincinnati plays in. And the Fire playing the shitty Toyota Park. Now they're playing at shitty Soldier Field. Like, it's not cool, bro. It's not cool. So, if we're going to talk about soccer, we got to talk about basketball. What do you got on free agency and trades and all this stuff?
So, the big news is Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. The shit show is still going on between that team. Kyrie Irving signed a deal with the Nets, but it was mostly for a sign and trade, so the Nets can trade him. There's only a couple teams that want Kyrie. One of them is the Lakers. Typical, the Lakers want everyone, right? Problem is they need to give up a lot to get Kyrie, and who do they give up? No one wants Russell Westbrook. No, I mean, they have to kind of give up picks, which they don't have, or Anthony Davis, which it's going to be hard with his injury tendencies. So I don't know how they're going to get this done. Is Kyrie and KD just going to stay at Nets? And if Kyrie leaves, KD seems like he wants to request a trade as well. So that's the big news. Jalen Brunson signed or is going to sign with the Knicks, it seems like, on a max deal. So the Knicks got rid of most of their players. They gave up Jalen Duran to the Pistons, their 14th overall pick or something like that. They gave him to, or 11th overall pick, traded him to the Pistons to clear up all this cap space to get, it seems like Jalen Brunson is who they want. So it's kind of funny I would hate being a Knicks fan.
Yeah, it's looking more and more like Jalen's going there because of if the Mavs were to re-sign Jalen, like let's say if they met that 4-year, $100 million deal, I think the tax implications for year one would be like $130 million.
Yeah.
And so part of me, like, I'm a Bulls fan, so to hell with the Knicks. I don't care what they do. But somebody with Luka's skill set, like it almost like he had somebody, like he had his, Batman to Robin or his teammate or his guy as Jalen started to have his coming out party, and now that piece is going to be gone, and it's just what the hell are the Mavericks doing?
I don't know. I actually don't want to sign him on a max contract. Jalen only came alive. No one really knows about the end of the season, right? He hasn't produced a full season. He's kind of like a roller coaster. Sometimes he's like the superstar. Sometimes he's non-existent. I'd rather sign someone on a 1-year deal or something like, for example, Bradley Beal didn't sign with the Wizards. Imagine Bradley Beal coming over to the Mavs with Luka and Christian Wood. I think that team, if Bradley Beal comes over, is going to be a scary team in the West. So I don't know. I don't think the Mavs are done because they were interested in Kyrie. They were one of the teams that were interested, or Kyrie was interested, or some vice versa. But their name was talks with Kyrie. So I don't think they're done.
I'm still waiting. I think the Bulls are going to do something. They're always quiet. There was a lot of talks with like Vucevic and like Kobe White being packaged together. And so I'm interested to see what AK does for the Bulls. But the one trade that I can't wrap my head around is the Spurs trading Murray for essentially Gallinari and 3 first-round picks. But my expectation would be the Hawks are going to be good. thus meaning those first-round picks aren't exactly lottery picks.
I'll tell you. I think they might be some. I don't think so they might be. There's a guy. They might trade these picks in the future to move up in the draft. In 2023, there's a player in Europe that's supposed to be like super legit, and I cannot pronounce his last name. It's Victor Wembanyama. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's supposed to be like the next huge thing coming up. Everyone's talking about him. So are they preparing to try to get go all in and get Victor next year? That's kind of the thing. And you're going to hear more talks about this guy, Victor. So I don't know if he has any cards out there, but it'd be cool to get like an international sticker of him right now and hold it.
My play earlier that I was going to somebody I've got. If you were to look at my eBay and things that I'm watching, the first 100 things are Patrick Williams. There's a couple one-offs of Kobe White. There's some Dewdrop for some rainbows that we're trying to complete for Dewdrop the wrestler, and then there's some DeJounte Murray, because you have a guy who's 25 years old, averaged 25, 9, and 8 with 2 assists per game, while shooting a good clip from the field. Like, he is a bona fide stud.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out for the life of me what the hell's going on in San Antonio.
Right. I think that's my reasoning. This dude is Victor. He's played 3 seasons. Let me see. What's his average points? I guess it doesn't really matter, right? With the Europe League, it's kind of different, but I get this dude's like 7'2", and can move. So I don't know. Maybe they're preparing to get that Victor guy. That's my reasoning. I guess I'm not a Spurs fan. If I was, that would be my hope. They just said, yeah, I'm done with this year. I'm going to go for Victor.
But if that guy's that good, are you trading 2 late first-round picks and going to be able to move up in the one spot to get him?
Yeah, probably not.
Nah. And the Hawks are going to be pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty damn good backcourt, because Murray can defend the ball, and you put a couple other pieces, all of a sudden Trey's inability to play defense at a high level is kind of like, you can kind of hide that.
Isn't doesn't their center one out?
They were talking about moving Collins.
Yeah. Oh, Collins. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I don't know. Maybe they know something we don't know. I always Popovich has something up his sleeve, right? So, all right. Well, I want to start a new segment. It's kind of me and Jeremy's, what is this, 715th episode.
715.
Yep. So we want to get to know each other. I want people in the community to know Jeremy if you haven't met him in person. So I'm going to do kind of like a rapid fire questions, and you're going to have to pick this or that type questions.
Okay.
And he doesn't know any of these. I haven't told him. I just wanted to be like organic with you. So LeBron or MJ?
Jordan.
Messi, Ronaldo?
Messi.
That's what I'm talking about. Flawless or national treasures?
Flawless.
Chicago style pizza, Detroit style pizza?
So don't listen to me, because I don't eat cheese. Like, there's a million things I put in my mouth before cheese. But I will go, take that however you want. There's a million things I put in my mouth before cheese. Cheese is fucking disgusting. But I would go Detroit. Now, mind you, I eat just dough, sauce, and maybe a little bit of meat. So, but the Detroit in the rectangle pans, that's legit.
All right. How about if you go Detroit, New York?
Detroit.
Okay. Anthony Rizzo or Chris Bryant?
Anthony Rizzo.
Mike Ditka or Brian Urlacher?
I can't stand Mike Ditka. These fucking kids driving around drunk somewhere right now. Yeah. That was always like a joke in like sports talk radio, because it's like a lot of DUIs allegedly. But Brian Urlacher, the player.
The player?
Yep.
Logo Man 101 or the Shield NFL Shield 101?
What player and what year?
We'll go. Let's do. We'll do Justin Fields, his rookie year, or who's comparable to Justin Shields on the Bulls? Would it be your Patrick Williams?
Ooh.
Logo Man.
I am going to go. Fuck, that's hard, man. Which one's stitched?
No, just pick one.
Damn, dude. I'll go Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
And that's just because I don't have any good Justin Fields cards, so that would be the nice base for a good. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going P. Will because I want to have like a legitimate P. Will collection. There's a guy on IG, P. Will and Chill. Awesome dude. He's got a kick-ass collection, and so that would kind of put me close to the ballpark for him. So I'm going to go P. Will.
All right. Lewis Hamilton or George Russell?
George Russell.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm surprised.
George Russell.
Jake Cutler, Mitchell Trubisky.
Cutler.
Yep. Yadier Molina, Steve Bartman.
Fuck, man. I'm gonna go Bartman.
Bartman?
Man, like a lot of people that were in that spot would have done the same damn thing. You know what I mean? They would have done the same damn thing. That poor guy just so happened to be like that dude in that moment. But hey, as a Cubs fan who hates the Cardinals, like Yachty is a hell of a defensive catcher.
Yeah, he is. And he's very consistent, right? He hasn't really missed much, right? My last question, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre?
God. Oh, man. So Brett Favre will send you a picture of his wang and ask for a massage while he's popped up on pills. Aaron Rodgers is a bag. Clearly coming from a bitter Bears fan.
That's what I said too.
Fucking A, man. I like Brett Favre does those dumbass like Lee Dungaree commercials where he's out chucking the pigskin wearing his Wranglers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looks like he wants to be in like a reboot of like that. What was the Patrick Swayze movie? Roadhouse. Man, that's to quarterback my team?
No. Which one do you like more?
Okay, I guess I would like Aaron Rodgers more because if Brett Favre played in today's NFL, he wouldn't be a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Ooh,
because they'd say Brett, you can't throw 30 interceptions a season. That's unacceptable, Brett. And put your dick back in your pants. Nobody wants to give you a massage.
Well, that was like getting to know. I wanted to pick some hard ones towards the end where you hate both players. So I think I did a good job. I know Jeremy a little bit, and he likes the Chicago teams. He likes the Cubs, the Bears, the Bulls. So I know like their rivals. Well, okay, here we go. And I know he hates the 80s Bears. What is the defense called? The Bears defense? What were they called?
The Monsters of the Midway.
Okay, Monsters of Midway or the Purple People? What were they called?
Wasn't that the Vikings, the Purple People Eaters?
Yeah, the Purple People Eaters.
I fucking hate the Vikings too, man.
I know.
Well, you know what? Hate as I get older, I don't hate. I probably dislike the Cowboys the most. It's just like it's like a franchise. It's like the Cowboys and Notre Dame. Like you've never been relevant in my life, yet you want to talk about how you're the greatest program and you set the bar for how the fuck out of here, man.
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm not like that. We suck. I always tell because we're from Michigan. I always say we haven't had like in my lifetime. We're kind of like the Lions.
Yeah, so I'm a Bears fan, so I can accept like we're we're not a good franchise. We're not the most well run. And ultimately, in my mind, the deciding factor with going P. Will over Justin Fields is there's a good chance the Bears will just destroy any talent that Justin Fields has.
That's probably true.
I hope that doesn't be true, but that was always like, if there's a player that can be destroyed, don't worry, the Bears will do it.
Mitchell Trubisky is about to be a shining star in Pittsburgh. Watch.
I would not at all be surprised.
he's gonna watch him become a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Like the dude would so much better when like they had him mobile, get him out of the pocket, cut the field in half. And Nagy got to the point where he was so stubborn that he wanted his offense to work that he's like, even though this is advantageous to you being successful, we're going to go in this direction.
Yeah.
So any coach who can set aside his ego and utilize that person's skill set to the best of their ability, I wouldn't be surprised if he went on and was a Pro Bowler again. I wouldn't.
I just decided this. We're going to, for the community, we're going to have to come on Sundays after Bears and Cowboys games just to kind of like let go of all of our anger, especially for you. And it would be great for the hobby.
Look, man, I'm a passionate fan. I have literally giving, like, you'd have to, if you summed all the time that I've given to sports, it's years, right? When you talk 3, 4, 5 hours a baseball game, 100 and let's say 150 to 160. Sometimes you miss one.
Yeah.
Year over year as a kid, 80 something or 70 to 80 basketball games a year. Saturday night football, like that used to be like the thing. Saturday nights were you'd watch college football all day Saturday. Then you'd start, partying a little bit, watch the Saturday night game. Then you'd watch whatever fight or pay-per-view. Then you'd sleep for a little bit. You wake up and then you would watch football all Sunday.
Yep.
And like baseball, when you'd have 5, 6, 7 games a day, a week, that adds up, man. And so I'm emotionally invested.
You'll see me be really emotionally invested when college sports come. When football and basketball come around, Michigan State, I'm a wild man. So I lose it. I don't know what's going on. A gear goes away in my head when they play.
Well, this was a goddamn marathon episode. 1 hour and 20 minutes. A lot of rambling, a lot of stuff that'll probably come back to haunt me, but that's okay. This was my authentic self in this moment. That's how I felt. So make sure you follow us, Too Thicc Pod, and we'll be live this weekend recording some more stuff. So follow Manny, follow me, and make sure you, do that.
Stay thick, everyone.